Sawtooth Dave here. Another week, more discussions and an epic failure. A couple of them actually. Well, we gave into it in a second here. I guess the first one is, I never was a good Catholic. Go imagine that, right? Yeah, didn't make it to 40 days. Well, I guess technically it was 40 days since I bought a knife, but I didn't make it to 40 days that we were talking about from the time I said start. Technicality, right? So, I guess I got a little bit of a story to tell. And I ain't putting it off on the dude at all. He gonna probably laugh about this shit. His buddy will too. My buddy Aaron's like, he takes pride on being able to find just about anything. Like, the dude has found me several knives. Like, just a bunch of knives. The dude's always, he can find anything, right? And first deal I did with him was that stonewash tie sawtooth that I had a while back. I ended up swapping him for that Harpoon Tonto Eclipse. And that's the first deal we did. And then a while back, he helped find the F3. So this is the original F3 without the milled pockets on the inside and no lock bar, or no lock bar insert and that sort of thing. This is definitely more my flavor when it comes to that F3. I definitely want one of those new F3s because it starts making the largest. But so buddy Aaron and I were talking. I basically, basically challenged him. We were talking about the 40-day thing and how I wouldn't be able to buy knives, and I basically told him that the only knife I'd break the challenge for would be 0456 ZT Blackwash. This knife I hadn't been able to find at all. Well, the dude must have been a fucking investigator in a previous lifetime or something, because he went back, I don't know, 3 months, found a dude that had bought one and decided to try to see if the dude would sell it. And then I don't know if he talked the dude into it or the dude wanting to sell it or whatever the case may be, but anyhow, the dude tracked one down, and I couldn't say no, man. Like, I got it for a good price and everything, but y'all, I already said it. I love ZTs and I'm a ZT hoarder and all that other crap. So yeah, one came around. I had to do it, man. So I owned up to Steve pretty much right away. Told him what was going on. Steve's got some things. Like, he's the one that pretty much started the challenge, and it's not like he asked me to join him or anything. I just decided I'd join in with him, and I guess I feel bad about failing the challenges. Whatever, but I made it good with, well, I didn't make it good with him. I basically talked to him and see what he thought. He was like, yeah, you made it 40 days. It was literally 40 days from the time I bought a knife to the time I bought the next one. It's still 40 days, not the same 40 days, but hey, and this was his J2, and we made it right, and I ended up swapping him the RMP and a little bit of money, and the J2 is mine now. And we're good, all the 40-day thing, we're good. But my man Snuz, which is, I guess, I heard somebody say something about he's hiking for the next month or two or something like that. But Snuz, if you see it, man, yeah, I failed, bro. So my repentance is 300 body squats a day for 30 days. That's what the wife said I had to do. So she's doing it with me too, but whatever, nothing, I can handle that. So it is what it is. I kind of expected to make the 40 days, but I didn't. Oh well. Now that we're talking about the J2 for a minute, I kind of want to go over something that had happened to me. Actually, it was the day after I bought it too, which is kind of good because I'm glad it wasn't Steve's knife when it happened to me. This is the original stop pin. I'm going to go over this in a little bit. Well, I'll go over it now. So let's see where the camera's at. Yeah, there we go. Let's see if I can hold this so you can see it. This is the original stop pin. You see those little marks in the middle there? Okay, that's the only thing they were using to keep that in the blade of this. So this pin is 2 thou undersized from what the stop pin was originally in this knife. And they basically just crimped it, dimpled it, whatever you want to call it. And that was the only thing holding it. So I felt it kind of get a little bit loose in the blade, and then it just literally just fell out. And yeah, I could have sent it back Strider, probably get Strider fixed and everything like that, but that's just not my nature, so I made a 17.4 piece, and one side is the same diameter as what that pin was. The other side is 2 thou bigger than that, and I put a slight taper into it and just did a little interference fit, whacked it down to size. Now mine's full size as far as the width of it, and you can see the smallness of, let's see if I can hold it up where you guys can see it. It's kind of a shit show here, sorry guys. Anyway, let's see, maybe you can see that. Fuck, I just dropped the damn thing. Anyway, this one, where the fuck's the camera? There we go. This one ain't quite as wide. So this one that I put in here now is the full width of the frame. So it banks on all that stuff. Before it kind of had a little bit of a lock stick issue. I think I mentioned it on a video before. And ever since I'm doing this, it has just a touch of one. And I think it's basically because, you know, stuff's still breaking in, still moving a little bit, but it's not nearly as bad as it was. Feels good now, and honestly, I feel like the knife's probably a little more solid now. My buddy was worried about, you know, void warranty with it and that sort of thing, but like the way I look at it is, man, like I pretty much can fix everything on this knife. I could probably make new scales, I could probably make a new lock bar. Aside from the blade, I can probably make everything new, and if it come down to it, I could probably machine the blade. I'm just, you know, whatever, dude. It's my knife. I decided to modify it. I'm a machinist. That's just my thing, you know. Like if I can fix it, I'm gonna. Anyway, that's the J2. So other J2 owners, you might want to just kind of keep an eye on that stop pin and make sure you ain't got no movement in it. I didn't do anything what I would consider like hard use with it that would have made it get loose. I think it was just a manufacturing flaw. Not really like, from a machinist point of view, the style of stop pin they put in that thing, and I think they could have done better with it. Anyway, something else to watch. Maybe you guys won't have issues. Hopefully not. But I just want to kind of throw that out there so y'all kind of knew what was going on with that. I guess second thing I did this week is modified the Hest, the original Hest. I put a picture up of the Hest. This is the little Urban Hest, the USA made one. The original one, the Italian version, whatever you want to call it, the titanium was so soft on it, you really couldn't do anything with it. Like it's the detent ball, you could just literally take it and mash the lock bar in, and it would push the detent ball in titanium. You could take the lock bar once it's locked open and just push it, and you push it all the way till it hit. So it's just really soft, gummy titanium. So I took it apart and drilled it. I drilled it and seated a ceramic ball in it. That mod actually worked pretty good, pretty easy. So I was thinking just like a regular detent, slightly over halfway, and then took a diamond grinder and ground it back flat, and it stopped. It worked great. And I was gonna have it here to show you guys. I did have a little bit of a flaw in drilling it and laying it out. It worked though, it did work. But a buddy of mine a buddy of mine at work needed a knife, and I'm just the type that, like, if someone needs a knife, I'm gonna hook them up pretty much. So I gave him that knife. So maybe I'll get back from him one weekend and let him borrow a different knife so I can show you guys. But it worked. It was effective. You know, I've heard, what is that? Is it Jason Guthrie? Yeah, Jason Guthrie. He has I think it's tungsten carbide insert he uses in his. And then I thought about Chris Reeves, and they use ceramic balls in the 31s. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna try it, and it ended up working pretty good. Like, you know, would I recommend it for a production knife? Probably not. But to fix one, you know, if you guys have one of those original Hests and they ain't working for you, might be something to consider. A little bit tricky on the layout, a little bit tricky on seating the ball and that sort of thing. But and you need a diamond wheel to kind of knock it back flat, otherwise it's never going to engage. But it worked out pretty well. Basically now I want to thank Aaron for finding all that stuff, the 456 blackwash in particular. And a while back I thought I would have time to make him a complete sawtooth, and he found a deal for a blade and just a hardware, and he got a screaming deal on just a blade and hardware. But I haven't been able to make good on it. Like, you guys know, situation changes, and I feel bad about kind of not being able to do what I said I could do for him. And that's between me and him. It's really nothing was ever promised, but, you know, I told him I did the best I could with it. And I haven't really showed it a whole lot, but if you look at Instagram, like the very first picture I post is my old Sky Rogue Shark and the sawtooth with the shark face kind of out of it, a little kind of A10-ish, what do you call it? Motif, I guess you'd call it. So anyway, this is his blade. This is out of that, I took the frame, this G10 scale, and this G10 liner. This is Aaron's blade and Aaron's hardware inside this, except for the stop pin, because the one he sent me was for a full tie. This is a G10. The stop pin doesn't come all the way through in a G10, so I had to use the old G10. But I built in this sawtooth with that one because I figured that would make it right, and it's a big thank you to him. So this is blasted, not tumbled like the factory. But that's your blade, Aaron, on that. And it made a good damn knife, dude. This thing is money. One of the best G10 sawtooths I've had in a while. So just so you know, man, I'm gonna send this your way. If that's a problem you get with me, you got my number. That's just a thank you, man. I'll make one eventually for myself. I don't want to leave you hanging, and then it's also a thank you too. So finally this week, watching the Casual Cutter Tom's videos, and also my buddy Chuck Nunface had a video on it too, and it was basically mixing the fluorinated grease from like Chris Reeves with they use nano oil. I use Gunny Glide because that's what I had. Maybe I need nano oil, I don't know, but just a kind of experiment to see. And I did have it in the J2. It kind of slowed the J2's action down a little bit, but it could have been because I went a little heavier in the grease, don't know. But hang on one second, I'll grab me some too nice real quick. Oh shit, I'm getting old. But I did to the Spartan Hersey folder. It's like money, man. It made a huge difference in the action on this, so it definitely cleaned it up, made it nice. I haven't really carried it since I've done it, so the J2 obviously I've carried the shit up, so time will tell if it keeps it smooth, but it feels the action smoothness is definitely smoother with the fluorinated grease and the Gunny Glide mixture kind of thing. And I invite you guys to go check your channels out, watch both their guys' videos. I think actually the one that Chuck Nunface did was my old Medford. The one that Casual Cutter just did, Tom, I believe was on the Capitalist? It might have been on the Capitalist. He just did his on. No, the Capitalist is bearing knife. What did he do? I don't know. Whatever it is, you look at a couple of videos, you'll see it. I also did it on the 24, and I thought it did phenomenal on the 24. The 24 was pretty stiff before, and it did phenomenal. So I don't know if it's certain kind of actions that it responds to more than others, but both those knives seem to respond really well. So definitely something worth checking out if you guys want to experiment with the action using that fluorinated grease with the oil mixed, you know, whatever oil you use, nano oil, Gunny Glide. I don't think it really matters, but maybe it does. Who the hell knows? But I did feel the initial reaction of smoothing up. Even that J2 seemed like it smoothed up initially, but it just didn't last. And I think the wife wants to bring the puppy. Is the puppy still out? I don't know. She wanted to bring the puppy and show the puppy, but because she's grown, I guess she wanted y'all to be able to see it. But the big dog right here, hey, come here. Come here. Come on a second. He wants to see you. Come here. Show the people. Come here. Come here, big guy. He wants to play with his ball. There he is. Let's see. All right. People want to see you, man. All right. Whatever. All right. Ball. Let him go chase his ball. I guess we'll call it there. Y'all have a good week. See you.